Chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benny. Sells.
Hello, welcome to this week's Gull'S Eye View. We've got a two-part special. In part two, we've got a very special guest, Danny Wyatt, joining us. But for now, we're going to talk about an FA Trophy victory over Truro. I'm actually very positive this week. And that's not just because, I'm sure you won't mind me saying this, Paul Watson walked past at the end of the game and said, Sam, are you positive today? And I was. What I should have said at the time, actually, looking back to Paul, was, oh yeah, really enjoyed it. Great win, well done. What I did say was, 4-3-3. I told you, 4-3-3. I was buzzing with myself, and I walked away about a minute later and went, what an idiot. What an idiot. But there we go. It's all been done. But yes, 4-3-3, a second half performance, which was fantastic. And a very important win, I think, in many different ways. But we'll get to that part in a bit. Let's go back to the start of the game. I'll start with Chris, actually. What are your overall thoughts on the first half of the game?
We probably don't want to let Clive off the leash just yet. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it was a tough watch again in periods, wasn't it? Just like the two previous home games had been. There was a bit more to it in terms of space. I think what the frustrating part, as Paul said after the game, was that we have just with our touch and our final third play just let us down. If we'd have, there were three occasions where a better ball or a better touch and we were in. Which in those fine margins in games we have to get better at, I think, as he would admit. So I think that was a bit frustrating. Truro were big and strong and went from back to front quite a bit. It was all long throws and balls into the box, and I wasn't overly concerned in that we've defended our box very well and all season. I thought we did again. I thought that was Dyer's best game. For us, as I wrote in the report afterwards, and I think it's his first time he's played in the centre because it's the first game we've been without Dreyer since this season, and I thought he was good. He was authoritative. He won everything in the air. He organised them. I thought the back three were good in the second half, especially. But first half was just it just kind of lacked that final bit of quality until I'll tee you up here, Clive. Until Truro scored just before half time.
Yeah, it was a really good strike. From a sort of semi-cleared corner, I think it was, and the lad hit it beautifully.
Amazing strike,
left-footed into Hammy's top right-hand corner, didn't he? Goal, obviously Truro go mad, on the subject of away support, of course, 167. I'm not going to give them too much grief for that. That's a reasonable away following. Yeah. Certainly puts the Kentish men in the shade, doesn't it? So yeah, well done, Truro. They did sing as well.
You could argue it was a bit closer, Clive, but carry on.
Yeah, I thought Truro City's away support was decent. There you go. That's on the record.
Positive, Clive.
And they're a football club on the up, like Torquay. I do think Truro will go quite a long way over the next 10 years as well. So I think it's quite interesting, actually, that done. But yes, go for it, Clive.
Certainly, that's Paul Watton's belief as well. He doesn't see them falling away this season. He thinks they're genuine contenders. Okay, so we all thought it was a goal. James Hammond clearly felt that it wasn't a goal, and so he charged across the goal line to tell the assistant referee his opinion of it. And after some consultation, and no doubt to the Truro players' chagrin, that's a word I like to use.
Never heard of it, but go for it.
Bit of French.
If anybody says,
I've got to say,
if anybody says it's what Wayne Rooney used to do, get your mind out of the sewer. Sorry. Right. So eventually we had exactly what we had a couple of weeks before. We had the linesman deciding, actually, that was offside, putting his flag up. Referee disallows the goal. I'm getting fed up with this. Paul Watton in his press conference today basically said Hammond had done the right thing, which as a football manager and as a football player, that's fine. You within reason, it's okay to express your opinion to officials about decisions. Of course it is. We all live in the real world. There is a bit of pressure put on officials, but they're just buckling, aren't they? I can't understand for the life of me why linos are not putting their flags up for offside. We know in both cases that the next issue was is somebody interfering with play? Is somebody in that offside position interfering with play? And I think probably yes, they were very much interfering with play. They were impeding Hammond to get to a shot he was never going to get to in a month of Sundays. But I just think that the officials in this league, on the evidence of the last few weeks, will just give the decision to the team that shouts the loudest. And that's not right. It isn't good enough. And somebody at the FA or the league, whatever the body is that controls these idiots, needs to do something about it. It's really, really poor. There you go. That's my rant.
We saw it with Chancellor, didn't we? And it went against us. And yeah, it was offside, and that's not the point. But it's just the fact that I did have it explained to me by a few very knowledgeable gentlemen who, when you watch this, about the rule, how it's changed where, Chris, you're going to have to bail me out on this, where basically they have to wait for a certain time and then they sort of decide. But it's just no one knows the rules.
Explain to me in a game where VAR is not an issue. Just explain to me why a linesman isn't expected to put his flag up.
It's mental.
Because the first thing the referee does when he or she sees that happen is to award a goal. Because you would do, wouldn't you?
Because you don't want to start having it where you're not celebrating goals even in games without VAR. It's mental.
So I'd just like to say before I say this, Carl, I don't agree with what I'm about to say. I'm just offering the opinion that my overly reasonable father regularly offers at these things with my sister's knowledge of refereeing. So the argument is that the linesman or assistant referees, or whatever they're called, putting the flag up is not for the crowd. The flag is for the referee. Now, and in these games, they're mic'd up, very similar to this. So they're mic'd up so they can hear the conversation, they can hear what's in the air, and they're having a conversation through the air. So this is theoretically how the conversation goes, without Michael Owen and Howard Webb to stand in front of the screen telling us all about it. But basically, so the conversation is, is that offside? Yeah, he's in an offside position. Did he obstruct it? Or not sure. I'm coming for a chat. You have the conversation. Yeah, he's offside. Flag goes up. Now, I think it's ridiculous because I think what was interesting about this one, and in shock of the century, I'm going to agree with this one and not the other one. But I think what was interesting is the one that we had disallowed. Cook is on the floor behind the goalkeeper, not impeding him in any way, shape, or form, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. But in this case, you could see, as Riley Lowe was about to hit the shot, you could see Heyman was doing this. You could see him trying to see around the blokes because you couldn't see him. I agree with what you said. He's never going to save it in a million years. But you could see he was doing this and he couldn't see around them. When you freeze the replay, there were three people offside. They're offside. But I think the problem, and as I said the other week, they've confused that entire rule. And that is now, and so actually, as we were discussing earlier, if the bloke's offside, when the shot's hit, he's offside. Now, where does that rule end? If they're, by the byline to the right of the goal, are they offside, and all of that. But the reality is if they're in the vicinity of the shot and the goalkeeper, they're offside. And they've just overcomplicated the rule to the degree where you get this, where the flag doesn't go up, everyone celebrates a goal, and then you have a chat and the flag goes up. It's just too complicated. If they're on the pitch, they're interfering. If they're in the line of the shot, they're offside. Done.
Yeah, I just can't get my head around.
Sick of talking about refs, honestly.
Yeah, I just can't get my head around the referee not putting his flag up. Because with respect to that argument, if flags aren't for spectators, what the hell are they for?
Well, exactly. Why bother?
If you're mic'd up, you can just have a chat, and the referee can give whatever decision. So put your flag in the bin. I don't see why they're not flagging it. That doesn't necessarily mean the goal's going to be disallowed. There can, by all means, then be a discussion between the officials, and the lino can get, as we would see it, overruled. But as they would tell us, well, actually, it was the right decision because we've now taken everything. Yeah. But it's just nonsense. It's to me, I know I'm an old man, but when you've watched football for as long as I have, what's going on there? I think actually they're also trying to retrofit their argument, because what's happened in both those cases is that the officials have been swayed by quite aggressive approach from the team that's conceded the goal.
Yeah,
it makes them look, even if it's not the case, it makes them look weak. It gives the perception to the people who have paid to get in that they're not up to the job.
Yeah, just shout loud enough and we'll change our mind.
It's really think
and
we
you
should,
send that and a
I think we
qualified
should get a
linesman.
referee on here, really.
Yeah, honestly, and honest explanation. So all the
No, you're not
things.
getting my sister on here. No, don't even think about
But
it.
I want a thing from the National League South. I want to be explained all the decisions for and against Torquay so far this season. I want to explain what happened in that Tunbridge one as well. How on earth a linesman can see that? But I just want to explain like genuinely, and that's why going back to the VR thing, it's vital that you hear all. We've seen this stuff happening at a higher level as well, with that David Coote as well, and it's just like it's a bad time for refs all through it. A very good point was made by our friend Mark Hurst in a Talkie Talk chat a few weeks ago. I'm not claiming because I'm just reading what he said. And he said it's because, or he feels it's because with VAR, a lot of good refs are sat watching it on a TV basically in the VAR room, which means there's a lack of refs at the lower level. So people are either getting over promoted too quickly, or there's just not enough refs full stop of a good standard. And if you look at it that way, that's probably about right. So that's where we are. Where we are.
I think as well, Swan. I think you've seen this all of the games this season. You've just seen a lot of bizarre performances.
Yeah.
So like on Saturday, literally nothing happened in the first half, apart from the offside goal, which was a linesman decision. Literally nothing happened. Second half, my son was joking that he's had too much sugar in his tea at half time because he's come out second half and just started giving everything.
I praised
everything to foul, everything to yellow card. Yeah. And you're just like, what on earth? What's happening here?
I'm totally with you. I praised him. I was like, he's just at the game. I've noticed the ref, apart from that decision there.
Yeah.
And next, it was just ridiculous. And we tried to, what is going on? I still were like, they can't be this useless. Times I'm like, are they just not to get swayed by a big crowd? Is it kind of like, I don't understand what it is. I don't understand much of what I see. I hate refs that think it's all about them. I always say this. Stop making the game up and let the game flow.
I thought the ref was okay overall on Saturday. I wouldn't have walked away thinking he'd had a shocker at all. And
no, he didn't have a shocker. But the second half, everything became a foul, though. Everything became a foul, didn't it?
You see that quite a lot, don't you? Because they talk about letting the game breathe, don't they? And obviously, you want to keep 22 on the pitch. So, maybe you're not booking people in the first half, but second half, right? Come on. It's a way of keeping it under control. You do see that a fair bit, really.
Yeah, you could talk about officiating all day, couldn't you? Actually, I think what's interesting from conversation I had with my sister recently is it's about what's a penalty, what isn't a penalty, and she talked a lot, and I get it, but it's a bit frustrating in that she talks about tolerance levels. So actually, what's a foul in the halfway line? So I said, well, what's a foul in the halfway line? It's a foul in the penalty area. And she said, no, that's not the case. I was like, well, of course it is. A foul's a foul. And she's like, well, no, actually, it's about tolerance and consequence. So actually, the consequence of a foul on the halfway line is different to a foul in the penalty area. And if you might get, it's a foul on the halfway line. In the penalty area, you might not give that because actually, if you're given a foul, you're given a penalty, potentially a goal. Yeah, so it's very interesting how you can.
It's a foul.
Yeah, well, you could argue that, but I guess the consequence of the foul you're giving has to be taken into consideration when you're making the decision, which is an interesting one. But in the words of my 11-year-old, what a banging free kick by Dan Hayfield! What a goal!
Yes, let's move to the positives now because I hate talking about linesmen and everything. I'm sick of it this season. All the good stuff going on the pitch and off the pitch. You seem to get it out.
Feel better now, Clive.
Yeah, I won't be chasing any more linesmen this season. That was very embarrassing. Thanks, Pitchside View, for getting me on the Tonbridge one as well. Thanks, absolute awesome Wenger. So embarrassing. I behaved all day. I was with my mates, and they had one of their kids as well. And I was like, right, I'm going to be a good role model. And as soon as that happened, I've gone charging down.
It's a sport. It's fine.
It's fine.
Good.
As long as you're not letting fireworks off, Swanee, you're absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Wow. Anyway, let's talk about the good stuff. Right, second half. They make the tactical switch. Well done, Pawson. I love a manager who is dynamic and won't just sit there and he will change things, and that's great.
Yeah, and you told him, Swanee. Get him told.
Embarrassing. Sorry, I have no qualifications. I shouldn't be saying. I mean, I'm very good at Football Manager, but I actually play 4-2-3-1 most of the time anyway. But so I went in. And I was at halftime, you're like, oh, not too sure. Second half come out. Also, can we just point out some individuals as well? New right back, Toss. Oh, he's one hell of a player. That slipped under the radar. He is brilliant. So went to the 4-3-3. And for me, everything just seemed a bit easier. All right. I agree totally with what Paul Watson says in his press conference today. It's about foundations of football, It's about, it doesn't matter what formation you're playing a lot of the time, if you're doing the basics, are you or not? And I totally agree. But to a certain degree, at times, I look at this team, where we are now, And I think a fullback where you could just make it a little bit easier to sort of build your triangles and all various bits like that. It just looked a little bit more comfortable. I felt actually defensively we looked stronger as well. As you said, Dyer in that left centre back. Oh, he's incredible. He is such a good player. It just felt like they knew who they're marking even more so. I think at times in the three back, maybe you can get a little bit stretched. I'm not a tactical genius. I don't know. But I think with a four back, it's a little bit easier at times, depending on who you're playing. And I just felt it felt comfortable. I mean, Fulton's a fantastic left back. Well done, player of the month, by the way. Talkie Talk sponsor curse is over.
Well, I was just about to say, yeah, that's clearly the inspiration.
Over. And I thought it looked brilliant. James Hammond in goal, just massive saves at big points in that game. Absolutely fantastic. He's back on form again. Just great to see. But for me, do you know what? Midfielders. I'm so happy for both of them. Before we get to Hayfield, Threlkeld. I was in Bristol's bench, right? 'Cause it was a cup, obviously season ticket, and then have a pop side. I was sat on my feet about 4 times in that game. One was a goal, and 3 were for tackles that Threlkeld did. Honestly, actually no, 2 were. 1 was for a free decision. But it was just some of the tackles. That's the player I want to see him. I thought he was winning the ball, excellent sliding tackles, fantastic. I was delighted for him. And long way that go forward now. And Dan Hayfield, so happy for him. What a free kick, Clive, wasn't it? What a free kick.
Beautiful. He has got it in his locker. You'll have heard that somewhere before, but it's true, isn't it? He does strike a very good.
Saw it at Tibby, Clive, didn't we? Pre-season, just like that.
Dave Thomas was saying today that he was speaking to Dan the other day, and he said, "You strike the ball so well, you should never miss." Yeah. I mean, we've obviously seen him miss, but we've seen him hit a couple of bangers already, haven't we? That goal at
Chesham.
Chesham, thank you. I knew I could have described the ground to you, but could I remember the name?
Yeah, I was in Spain. You were there, Clive, but I still remember it.
I was indeed there. That was a great hit as well. Yeah, brilliant. On the subject of Jay Fulston, I actually met his mum on Saturday.
No,
there was a lady who was kind of kicking every ball sat next to me, and I heard her sort of say, "Oh, well done, Jay," a couple of times, and she had a Welsh accent. I thought, I'm going to take a punt. And I said,
"What did you say? Are you Jay Fulston's mum?"
Yes, and she confirmed it.
Amazing,
and that was nice. Saw Matty Carson at lunch, this afternoon as well, and his folks have been over, but I think maybe their experience was less good because they came to the Tonbridge game.
Oh no!
So he fair play. He said, probably wasn't the best advert, but I think we forget. We're dealing with very often sort of young pros a long way from home here, and having that sort of family support, I think, is important for them. It's good.
Yeah, and I really like this team. We all get very passionate about wanting the best for the team all the time, and I always feel like sometimes they can be more. I love to see it when people at their potential, but I absolutely love this team, and I'm so proud to have them representing our football club.
I'd also say, Swanee, I think, and I've said it on Talkie Talks, I'll say it here for anyone to have a go at, but I think Hayfield's getting a bit of unfair criticism. I like him. He's a good player. I know I've mentioned before I got a mate who's a Bath fan, and he was the one he was most upset about losing because he's such a good footballer. He's strong, he's fit, plays every game, apart from that very slight injury, but he's strong and he's the sort of player you want in midfield. I mean, I've been impressed with the 3 from Bath, to be fair, but I mean, it was a great strike, wasn't it? And it won us the game. But one other thing I'd add as well. No, I think as well about Threlkeld. Someone said it. That was a performance of the player you thought you were getting, but. Yeah. Again, he's not been great the last 2 or 3 games. Then he had a couple out. But I remember we were talking to Harry before the game at Salisbury, and he said you have to remember he's played 2 games in 2 years. Yeah, so the fact he's fit and playing is an achievement in himself, and he's going to have dips, and it's going to be a bit quick for him at times. So yeah, I thought he was really good in midfield on Saturday.
I think it was a little bit more bold. I think with his tackles at times. I think that it's a player who is getting back to fitness and a faith in his body more than anything. I can imagine when you've just not played football like that. Right. But it's so good to see. They're growing into it now, aren't they? These players. We knew they were good players, but they're starting to really grow and just. Not so much just do the 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 easy thing at times. They're really starting to take those risks for themselves, for their teammates, for the football clubs, for the fans now. And that's going to happen over time. I saw enough, not just because we beat Truro on the weekend. I saw I just felt we were lacking just a few little components as a team. And for the first time in that second half, I saw it in our players. And I feel like if you take that for the rest of the season, there's no limit to what this football club can achieve on the pitch.
Are we getting carried away about one decent free kick here?
No, I don't think.
No. I think Hayford. The other thing I'd say as well, Sonny, I think Throwcal, what we've seen from teams recently is we've had a lot of teams trying to play through it, which has been different, I think, hasn't it? And of course, Truro didn't really try and do that. They just went back to front. It was just get the ball in the box, get long throws in the box. So I guess it was more of a kind of roll your sleeves up and scrap
football
kind of game, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the less game. But no, to a degree, Clive. But I think, and this is the stat I worked out for myself. I didn't have to get off Dom for once, but the last 4 games, we haven't scored from open play and we haven't conceded from open play. Yeah. So I don't really know what that means. I think it probably means we're hard to break down and we don't score enough.
I'm not sure it means the sky's the limit, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but if you keep the back door shut, you're always in with the shout.
We've got Boreham Wood on Saturday.
Yeah,
very tough game.
And we've got Tabletop in Weston on Tuesday night. Should we have another look at it next week?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think I could say I'm just trying to be positive, Clive.
Yeah, so it's a miserable Clive. Yeah,
negative at times.
But actually, and these I haven't had a chance to watch Paul's interview from today yet, Clive. You were there, so and he says, "Oh, it's a tough game. It's everyone's cup final every week, which is fine." But these are 2 games where it's almost a bit leveler than that. Yeah, we'll go to these games, and actually, if we go to Boreham Wood and get a point, thank you, I'll take that and go home again. And then the Western game's a big game because they weren't fancied to be up there, but they've spent quite a lot of money.
Points.
Yeah, but if we get 4 or 6 points from these 2 games, are you happy?
We are. I do generally think these 2 games are crucial for where we want to be and where we actually are.
He didn't say as much this afternoon, but it was very, very clear that Paul Watton sees Saturday as a huge challenge. And actually, I think he would be happy with a point. And I've said
I would kind of be happy with a point. Well. Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
if you get a good point out of that,
maybe not getting wet as well. That would be absolute gold standard.
I don't know that's going to be possible on Saturday with
not
the forecast.
Not looking great, is it? Not looking great.
It's not. I was there that game when Nathan Blissett headed the winner, and that was wet.
Oh, incredible! What a night! That's changed the whole season around, doesn't it? But yeah, I agree. I think it's a big test actually. To where we are, I'm really excited for it. To be fair, I do want to see something from them now to back it up.
What are the predictions then, Swanee? Come on, you go first.
We'll do both games. All right, I will go 1-1 for Boreham Wood away, and then I'll say 2-0 Torquay on Tuesday night.
Clive?
I don't think I've ever seen us win at Boreham Wood. I don't think Saturday will change that. I think it'll be very tight. I would say probably 1-0 defeat, and God knows on Tuesday.
You're looking forward to your day out Saturday, Clive, are you? Blimey heck.
Always.
Yeah,
Tuesday night, I don't know. Let's go with a little 2-1. Heart ruling head there, I think. But 2-1 Torquay Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Swanee, which is painful for Saturday, and go 1-1. I think I can see that being a draw because neither side scores kind of lots of goals, and I think defensively will be quite strong, hopefully. And then away, I think I was going to say 2-1, but we're going to score a 93rd minute clincher on the break, so that I don't agree with Clive and go 3-1 midweek. But I think of course,
brilliant. I'm up for that.
Yeah. All right, I'm there. See you there.
Oh yeah, well there you go. Thank you so much for watching episode 1. We've got a brilliant episode 2 we've already recorded, so enjoy that. And we'll see you all next week after those 2 big games in our season. Come on, Torquay.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.